Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. So for today I'd like to do a short review of the movie Fantastic Beasts, which I watched yesterday and it was so great. So in the beginning you see a lot of headlines of newspapers saying that there is an upcoming threat, namely Gellert Grindelwald. He is pretty much the equivalent to Voldemort later on, and you can see all kind of articles saying that murders happened and all these kind of things. So from the very beginning you already know, things are going wrong. And there are also a lot of newspaper articles saying that there is not only this threat, but also that there is a huge divide between Muggles and wizards in the US. So that is pretty much a problem that is depicted very early on in the movie. The movie actually starts with Newt Scamander arriving in the US with a very special luggage where he keeps, his creatures. He studies and more creatures he wants to find. The first creature that escapes Newt's luggage is a Niffler. So that is a beast. You can also find it in the original Fantastic Beasts book. And it pretty much says that it is a creature that has a pretty liking for anything glittery. So what happens, the Niffler goes into a bang and, you can imagine the Niffler is up to a lot of mischief, because, pretty much everything is glittery in there. Newt tries to catch it, but, he fails. Let's be honest. While trying to catch him, he meets the Muggle, or also in the American English, No-Maj, and from that point on, they are for some reason inseparable. They just have to do this adventure together. So when Newt tries to catch a Sniveler, he loses an egg, and the Muggle named Jacob Kowalski picks it up and tries to hand it over to Newt again. And from that point on, Newt knows he has to take him with him, simply because, he just has to. You can also see that, the divide between Muggles and wizards is quite clear from the beginning on, because there is a society or a group of people who actively protest against magic people. They they accuse them of their witchcraft, and they are just, nobody wants them in New York. So everybody thinks, there are also things happening in the city no one knows about. So there seems to be a huge explosion in a house, and of course people think it's because of witches and wizards, but actually it's some yet unknown creature that is making trouble, and we'll find out later what this creature actually is. So I don't want to go too much in detail, because there are a lot of creatures, a lot of great creatures in the movie, and eventually they all escape. You can guess it's a lot of chaos then. So Newt and Jacob Kowalski try to catch all of them, and they succeed, which is good. And it's just a huge adventure. So in the meantime, the problem is people think Newt is the reason for all the trouble that is happening in New York. Of course he is not, but nobody knows so far. What happens is that a high-ranking Juror named Percival Graves, he is hired to, he's a high-ranking Auror, and he is, his job is to hunt Newt down, and he has to hunt him down to stop him from what people think what he's doing, namely to set the beast loose and just making trouble in New York, which of course he's not. Eventually, well, there is another partner who or another friend of Newt, namely Tina Goldstein. She is, well, she also belongs. They are kind of the trio in this movie, and what happens is they always work together, but then Tina goes to the MACUSA, the Magical Congress of the United States, and with Newt's luggage, where he is hidden inside. So she makes him come out and tells what happened, and both of them are, well, they are captured and brought to jail, sort of. And after that, they are sentenced to kind of a death sentence. I didn't really understand this part because, well, they take Tina's memory, sort of, and put it into some pool, or it's a pool of water, and then, well, after that, she sits in the middle of that pool, and that water tries to surround her and to capture her. But I didn't really, well, it had a very bad meaning. That was, I think it was close to a death sentence. If you know more about that, it would be nice to tell me in the comments. Yeah, so Newt and Tina are in very great trouble, so that's what you can tell. Eventually, because Newt kept a bowtruckle, a very small creature, in his cloak, and that creature is famous for picking locks. So what that creature does is to open the chains that of Newt, and, well, then he can defend himself, and he saves Tina, and yeah, they are saved for the moment. There is also a subplot between Percival Graves and, oh my god, I forgot his name. However, a boy who lives with he lives in an orphanage, and with a abusive, well, kind of mother, a woman that takes care of him, and they are brought up to be strictly against magic. So what happens is that boy and Percival Graves, well, they don't. The boy thinks they become friends, but for Percival, it's not really like that. So what happens is that, of course, his magic is suppressed all the time, and the boy becomes really insecure and afraid of himself because he realizes that he owns magic. He's a magical person. So what happens is that the trouble that happened is in New York is all because of him, because a creature evolved in him named the Obscuro that, well, a Obscuro always appears when someone has to suppress magic, who is really can't live freely, and it always happens with children. So I also don't know if that is exactly how it's like, so I'm really sorry about that, but that's what I understood. And the Obscuro is like a dark mist. It's like a fog somehow, and it's really destructive. So what happens in the end is that the boy turns into an Obscuro and almost destroys the whole city, because he realizes he's been betrayed by Percival, because Percival never really cared about him. He only used him for his own good. Yeah, in the end, it's a huge battle. Newt and Tina try to save that boy because, well, Newt obviously did that before. He namely captured an Obscuro in his luggage. Yeah, they try to save that boy. They almost convince him to stop what he's doing. They can help him. But then the Magical Congress of the United States appears and makes it all stop. They shoot that boy and he dies. Well, what then happens is that Percival Graves, they try to catch him and bring him to jail and to court, of course, and well, he just violently disapproves of that. He doesn't want to come with them. So what happens then is that Newt uses a spell against Percival Graves, and well, he turns into Gellert Grindelwald. So Percival Graves, who's been working in the Congress, who's been a high-ranking Auror, has always been Gellert Grindelwald. And of course that is a shock to everybody, because he's been among them all the time, but they just didn't notice. And yeah, that's pretty much a plot. I know I didn't talk for really long. I just wanted to break it down to the most important points. Yeah, but well, lastly, New York returns to the United Kingdom. He says farewell to Tina, and well, it's a really heartbreaking scene because, well, you can tell Tina doesn't want him to leave. And yeah, but Newt also said in the movie that he can handle creatures better than humans. I don't really know if he has feelings for Tina, simply because earlier in the movie he said that he has always a picture of a girl with him, and she's called Lestrange. So probably an ancestor of Bellatrix Lestrange. Yeah, we don't really know how things will go. We don't really know if they fall in love with each other, but obviously it was hard for them to say goodbye. Lastly, Newt promises Tina to come back to hand her a signed copy of his upcoming book, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. That was my summary of the movie. I hope you know what it is about now, and yeah, I have to say the actors were great. I don't know what they could have done better. I think it was just, I mean, the special effects, the bees, it all looked so great. Just like in comparison to the Potter movies, they just improved so much. It looked so real, especially the Niffler. It looked like a real animal. That was just, and I like how they put everything in scene. I don't know if that's how you say it, but it all fit perfectly. It was just amazing. So the only thing I don't know if it's only me, but I think Eddie Redmayne, so Newt Scamander, mumbled a little bit. Sometimes it was a bit hard for me to understand. I don't know if anybody else felt like that, but that was sort of my impression. But that's really the only thing I could complain about. That if you like the Potter movies and of course the books, go check out the movie. It's really worth your time. It's only 2 hours long, but there is so much happening in the movie, and I left so much out, to be honest. And yeah, I think the next movies will be just as good as the one I just watched. I'm really curious what will happen next, because it ends with Gellert Grindelwald being captured, and I just wonder what will happen with him next, because as we already know, there will be 5 movies which will also deal with Gellert Grindelwald's life and his friendship to Albus Dumbledore. If you liked the video, please subscribe to my channel. It would mean so much to me. Like this video, and if you have any, just tell me about what your impression is. Did you like the movie, and why didn't you like it, and why not? Yeah, as you can tell, I liked it pretty much, and See you next time. Bye bye.